Hey the YouTube, is Omelette out here with another reaction video. Today we got I visited the world's hottest city by Ben Morris. Let's get right into it, shall we? Hit it.
Me and most of the world live in temperatures ranging
from about here up to about here,
with the average temperature on Earth being 15 degrees Celsius.
But this place is very, very different. The country and this city that I'm currently in records temperatures about 3.5 times that average. I can't even
I know people keep saying like, bro, the average temperature at 15 degrees Celsius and that you're not used to temperatures beyond 30. Take it from someone who's lived in the Middle East, 42 to 45 is like the default standard temp during most of the year, at least for half the year, which is mainly summer. It is wild. Like if you get used to temperatures like this, going back anywhere else is just like, it's a whole different story. Like temperatures aside, the humidity will get you.
Into words what this heat feels like.
As of
okay, they can make a Middle Eastern video without just having the random ass flute in the background. Do we really have to do this every time?
2016, the city has been repeatedly reporting temperatures above the 50-degree mark, with it hitting a climax of 53.9 degrees Celsius.
Okay, to be fair, that is crazy. I've seen temperatures up to like 45, 48-ish, but 50 is a crazy. That's a different beast.
A temperature which on the surface seems totally unlivable. Yet more than 4 million people call this place home.
Just for context, if you have certain places that have like temperatures like 45 to 48, the recommendation is you don't even take a step outside during like, you know, the midday. And if you had to take a step outside, not only do you have to carry water, you have to make sure whenever you're traveling between buildings or if you're walking anywhere, you make sure you keep that walk to a minimum, 15 minutes max outside, and you get into the nearest building you can. And you got to make sure you stay hydrated because heat stress and heat stroke isn't exactly unheard of in these temperatures, by far.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sweltering.
It feels like I'm in a sauna.
Sweltering, my brother.
Crazy.
To make my trip here that little bit more interesting, I decided to visit at a time where a nationwide warning was released about an extreme heat wave that was coming.
It is scorching.
Holy crap.
And what does the future look like?
I don't think people kind of, and look, to anyone who's actually listening in, and they're not from the Middle East, they're not from places that's really not that hot, if you're not used to temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, it is hard to explain. Imagine breathing in heat. Or like, imagine breathing in combustion air. It's really difficult to explain because it just, you gotta feel it. You gotta understand. And then on top of that, you think, oh, it can't get any worse. And you wait for the evening to roll out. You're like, okay, it's gonna cool off by the end of the day. Then the humidity rolls in. And it might actually be 32, 33 degrees Celsius actually, but it feels like 51 degrees Celsius because of the humidity. And you'll be sweating buckets, like liters of water, and you would still be feeling hot. This is a topic I'm passionate about. God damn, it is hot.
For a country where those temperatures are only on the rise each year.
That's true.
It's 12:15, it's the middle of the day. I can't even put into words what this heat feels like. It is ridiculous. I want to feel oh my god.
You could cook it on that.
It's boiling. I am dying. Oh my god. Let me show you. My thermometer says 51.
Just for context, I remember back in the day, I don't think there's a video out on the channel. I remember back in the day when I did try vlogging with the camera that's being used to record this, the camera equipment just failed. Like, this is a Canon camera, it's black. It goes outside, it's overheating, like in a few minutes.
It's insane. I really do understand why there's no one walking.
I'm surprised he's able to record. If it's on his phone, he's fine.
Kuwait don't actually allow workers to be working out work at night time instead when it's a lot cooler.
It's not necessarily better.
It's actually crazy.
That's not necessarily better.
Never.
They are mandated to give water and rest place, and you need to have food. Like there are certain restrictions, like you cannot fuck around with that, otherwise the law will come in and just yeet your ass. Like, you better be giving workers water.
Before meeting with people who live here and experience this heat daily, I wanted to first try and explore this place on my own.
I'm sorry for pausing like 20 times in the first 2 minutes. I apologize. But there have been because this brings back like memories, because I remember years ago when I did first come here, like there are people who are so used to extremely hot weather that they will just like, they take you in the car, they'd be like, oh, you want something to drink, and you expect them to say like a soda or something like really cold. No, they want karak chai, they want coffee, they want really hot drinks in really hot weather, and they're used to it, which took me a while to get used to, and then realize, yeah, that's actually not a bad thing. It just feels kind of nice having something hot in hot weather. It just kind of feels like normalizing with the temperature. You feel me? It kind of makes sense. Like something cold kind of stresses the system out. It's kind of weird, but that's just me.
However,
I'll stop
I think
that.
I underestimated just how hot this place really was.
Ooh.
Well, like how
Hey!
I have died because of the heat.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was literally that hot in the first hour of
Yes.
getting there.
Yes, you cannot. If you are lucky if you get your phone to work for longer than that. You're recording on your phone. Fair enough. I remember years ago when I think my dad had an iPhone 4S, and it's on the mount on the car, and it's used for like navigation on Google Maps. It worked fine until it just stopped working, and the phone was just, it's too hot, needs to cool down. I have never seen an iPhone give that warning before. I've never forgotten it. It's like, damn. And it really did feel hot to the touch, which is like, damn. Which is
My
crazy.
camera kicked the bucket.
Yeah.
Hopefully my phone survives a
You
bit
should,
longer.
it should, to be fair.
And all these machines here, I think they're water machines.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're working.
But
yeah.
by law, you have to. By law.
They have water
Because
and-
you,
Well, that's good.
Without
At least
that,
there's free
yeah.
water around. Taxis here.
yeah. Air conditioning saves.
Avenues
Yeah.
Mortgage.
One thing that you can do in Kuwait when the temperatures are over 40 degrees outside is come shopping
Right.
at a mall like this, Avenues Mall, which is the
Famously.
biggest mall they have here. This place is over 360,000 square meters. It has 1,100 stores, and if I want to walk all the way to the other end of the mall, it's about a mile.
It is so
It's one of those things like, you kind of understand like the social, cultural things that build up from the circumstance, because you know that there aren't many places that you can go outside during really hot temperatures, which is why malls become very popular. It's like, it's vast areas of space. You can easily walk around. It's climate controlled really nicely. Air conditions really good. And you don't face any problems at all. It's like chill, really no issues. And that's like great, obvious, because there aren't many places you could, go to. And especially the food court and malls, always packed, like no exception.
Nice and cool in this place, and it is
And
absolutely
it's really nice.
And the enormity
Yeah.
of this mall in particular is a direct reflection of the country's extreme wealth.
This is all because Kuwait has nearly 10% of the world's oil reserves, making them one of the richest countries in the world, with the Kuwait dinar being recognized as the highest valued currency globally. The discovery of massive oil reserves in the 1930s totally revolutionized the country's economy, so much so that petroleum accounts for nearly half of Kuwait's GDP and 95% of their total export revenues.
And as I walked around the mall, it was evident how the country's wealth has since trickled down into its other industries. This, coupled with the extreme temperatures outside, makes malls like these an epicenter for locals during peak heat hours.
It's a great escape.
And since I'm full of fantastic ideas, I decided to do the complete opposite to test just how hot it actually was
Ooh,
outside.
I'd be careful about
So
where
I've had a bit of an intrusive thought. The time is currently 5:30 and it is 39 degrees Celsius. So it's not that hot anymore. But that's not true. It's still so
Yeah.
hot. I want to see if I'm able to complete a 5K without dying or passing out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not
Yeah.
try this at home.
I like to think I'm a very
Believe me, the amount of times, at least the weather he's in right now is 13 degrees Celsius without humidity is what I'm assuming, because if it was humid, you wouldn't be able to see him. It'd just be that wet. But if there is high humidity, greater than 70% humidity, and it's 37, 38, don't even try. Like, if you're not perfectly healthy, don't try, because you will not only lose that much water from your body, you could probably die from a heat stroke or a heat stress because your body just wouldn't be able to effectively cool itself. The fact he has water is great. Perfectly fine. But don't be an idiot who goes out there trying to run or jog in these temperatures without, telling someone else about it. Just be like, bro, you gotta really take care of yourself there, for sure.
capable runner. But
Yeah,
running
that's
in this
dangerous.
heat is a whole different ball
Oh.
game. I already feel this. Part of the reason I'm doing this is to show my respect to the workers that have to work outside in this heat.
In 1952, the country became the largest oil exporter in the Persian Gulf. This massive growth attracted many foreign workers from Egypt, Iran, India, Nepal, and many more. And the impact of this extreme heat is particularly damaging to these types of workers who cannot work inside or out of the sun. Nearly 2/3 of Kuwait's 4.5 million population is comprised of migrant non-Kuwaitis, some of whom work in poor conditions with extremely high sun exposure.
I can't imagine living or working in this heat. You know, we complain about the winter in the UK, and if summer here is kind of like our winter, I would pick the winter every single day.
Ooh. That's actually an interesting question. Would I prefer the really cold temperatures in like Western countries, or would I prefer the heat here? That's actually a very hard question, you know? Goddamn. And I've seen snow twice in my life, probably. I've seen far more sun than I've seen snow. I would argue that if you had like perfect like developed cities to live in, that's like if you had to go to the West and you had like snowfall and you had homes with great heating, versus if you're in countries in the Middle East where it's really hot but you have great air conditioning. To be frank, I'd still prefer the hot countries because I think at least at night you'd still be able to go outside and still game. You could still play basketball, you could still play football in the evening, it's still fine. Versus like you go in like some of the northern latitudes and you go really cold, you can't even do that like without like losing, like without not wearing a coat. So I would prefer the heat, honestly. I'm just used to it, I think, probably.
I know I sound like a classic British person who complains when it's cold and then also complains when it's hot, but I honestly can't begin to put into words just how hot this place is.
Okay, for any runners out there, my heart rate is currently 182.
Did you just say 182?
620 pace. You can tell I'm not finding this easy. This is a very humbling experience. I will complete 5K. There's my hotel.
Okay, to be fair, he's actually in good health. Fair enough. I think he can probably pull that off. But by God, 182. Yeah, I'd be terrified for a lot of different things, actually.
It's too hot to have.
Yeah, everyone else would know.
How do you deal with this heat?
We have habit now.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah.
And if you want to see the results of what it looks like to exercise in that heat,
Nice. Sweaty.
I do not recommend.
Heat stress is something else, bro. You're actually threatening.
So I'm now here at the Old Market and it is a completely different place at night time. It is so busy right now. Everyone's out, the families. It's currently 38 degrees and it's just turned 7:30. The heat is making me feel lightheaded. It's strange. I'm about to eat at a very famous restaurant called Frizuela. Frizuela, I think you say. Thank you very much. So they actually have some cocktails here, as you can see. However, there is no alcohol. Kuwait is a completely dry country. I know a few people that could do it moving here.
Wow, thank you very much.
I mean, I'm not going to speak on it, but...
Yes, this is mutton majbous. Thank you. Okay, I've got something called mutton majbous. A load of lamb with rice and spices.
Enjoy the saffron rice, it's really good.
This food is incredible. You can see this restaurant is actually spraying the mist to cool everyone down. This place right here has a ton of air conditioning units and also these huge fans as well. So does that restaurant over there. I take it back. It is still absolutely boiling. It's fine when you're outside for about 10-15 minutes, but then I really start feeling it in my head. I'm not used to this heat.
To be fair, that is kind of an adaptation. I think like a couple of years in these kind of temps, you'd probably be fine. Your body just kind of gets used to it.
I don't know if it was the air conditioning, but I woke up every 2 or 3 hours with the driest throat I have ever experienced in my life.
You kind of have to get used to it as well,
I have been drinking a lot of water. I guess I'm just not used to it.
Your body's just losing moisture.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Waleed has lived here in Kuwait his whole life and has lived through this rise in temperature. He is originally from Egypt, but he has become a tour guide here in Kuwait and agreed to show me around for the day.
I just tried to turn my shower cold. It wouldn't go cold at all.
Your water tanks are on the top of the building most likely, so you will probably have like 30 degrees Celsius water or higher, minimum. Minimum.
There is no cold. The issue is a very high percentage of humidity.
Yes.
So when it's humid, it's even worse.
You cannot breathe. You know what I mean?
Wow.
They call it like wet bulb events as well. When you have like certain high temps and very high humidity, it is actually not dangerous, it's fatal. Like you would try breathing in those kind of times and you just would die. It's, not even as a joke. You just wouldn't make it that far before you just fall unconscious. It's just, there have been some wet bulb events, what they call it, dry bulb or wet bulb events, I think, wherein it's just irrecoverable and it's dangerous in those temperatures. Yeah.
Wow.
You can't breathe.
It's bad.
Despite it approaching the peak daily heat hours, there was so much of Kuwait we needed to explore. First up,
The Kuwait Towers,
I've
these
never actually been to
huge
it.
pools. That one is filled with water, and I think that one is as well. It is scorching.
Yes,
I have come inside the Kuwait Towers. The floor is actually rotating very slowly, but it is moving.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is going to be
That
extremely
is kinda
essential
nice.
to my trek. Water.
Yeah.
It actually feels like I'm in a sauna.
Sorry?
Like, it feels like I'm in a sauna.
Yeah, sure.
I've never felt anything like this before.
Yeah, I remember the last few years, quite heated, like the hottest spot on the globe in the world. You know?
My camera is already showing the overheating sign.
expected.
It's like hot to touch right now. It's actually like being in a sauna. Like someone's got a hairdryer and they're blowing it in your face.
ever since 2016, Kuwait has been recording regular temperatures of above 50 degrees. And last year alone, the temperature gauge hit over 50 degrees Celsius on 19 days.
I've seen temperatures reaching as high as 40 to 45, but never 50s and higher. I will admit, I've not seen temperatures cross 46. Like that, there have been maybe one exception at 48, but most likely never exceeded 46. You see, like, weather apps tell you that temperatures could look like 51 because of humidity, but never actually those high temps. These temperatures would most probably be fatal, like more than like 20 minutes of exposure. It's just the heat would just overwhelm the body's mechanisms for cooling. It is generally dangerous.
And as we progressed further into the day, the temperature just kept rising and rising.
47. Wow.
Causeway, it's in fact reached 36 kilometers.
No, heard about this.
It's considered the fourth longest
Causeway and the
around the globe.
Where does it go from?
In fact, it's connecting between the Kuwait city and the place in the desert called Subiya Desert.
And this causeway was built as part of a connection point into a large infrastructure project which is currently under development.
Right.
Now, I couldn't find a good website about this.
So we've just driven down the causeway and we've come to this viewpoint of the whole city. It's beautiful.
One thing which is synonymous with Kuwaiti deserts is the large herds of camels which are
and
raised
this
here.
is one of the things as well. Like, camels, obviously cool, no problem, but it's this white sand around you. And the thing is, you won't really feel it unless you're not in a desert. But if you're actually in a desert and you see the white sand, it's dangerous not because that you start seeing mirages or anything. It's not because of that. The heat that usually hits you and hits the ground bounces right off it. So it really not only it won't be shiny, but you will feel that heat radiating from the top and the bottom, and it's not a fun place to be at midday.
Pretty amazing how they just survive out in this heat.
It is. Yeah. Camels are different.
Camels.
They
Are they
ship over the desert
quite
for a
friendly
reason.
or are they aggressive
Oh
sometimes?
yeah, they're friendly.
I do not know how they're outside all day in this heat. Oh, this one's friendly. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's strange because it is so unbelievably hot outside, but I'm not really sweating that much. It's not too humid in these months. It's such a dry heat.
Yeah.
Coming to Kuwait, I really wanted to learn about the coping mechanisms of the locals who work in these extreme temperatures. And with that, we came across a farmer who has worked in the Kuwaiti desert for years.
Does he ever come out in the middle of the day, or he just in the morning and the evenings, or?
From 6 to 11, starting from 3 p.m.
And how does he feel about the temperature and the heat?
Yeah, accommodated already.
He's got a puppy.
There's many.
Wow.
6 puppies.
Oh my god.
They had 6 puppies before. Just one left.
Are they underneath? Yeah?
No, they have been dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, the puppies have died because of the heat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine spending 2.5 years just living in this caravan, looking after these camels, these dogs.
It's hot, bro. It's
I
hot.
would get pretty lonely.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Aww. And this big bag here is all of their water, which gets dropped off by a truck. It's used for the dogs to drink and, of course, for the camels to have water. Wow, I think so. We must have been outside for what, like half an hour, 45 minutes there. It is really hot, but the main thing is my throat is so dry and my mouth is so dry. Could you live in the desert for 2.5 years?
Oh, I don't know, but
You don't know? I don't think I could. I would be too lonely.
Now there's one activity which you always see people doing online when they come on holiday to the Middle East, and I was going to be no different.
Dune riding?
So I've come to this ATV and buggy rental place in the middle of the desert. Thank you. All right, I've got my little dune buggy.
Yeah.
It doesn't go very fast, but it's probably a good thing, to be honest. The metal line is now starting running exploded landmines in Kuwait. Oh, bloody hell. So hopefully I don't come across any. Just a random lonely sofa, another chair over there. There's a ton of sofas just left out here in the desert. Woo! That right there is a toilet in the middle of the desert. Pretty random that.
كافي عربي شكرا عفوا
Thank you very much. It's so hot. I don't know how you live with the heat.
كيف
Adapted. Yeah.
يعني هو الشهر يصير black.
if you stay here 1 month, it will be black.
After a day spent in the
The
scorching
melanin production go into hyperdrive to protect you. 100%.
sun, there's one sure
Yeah,
way to
that
cool yourself
Would be
down:
the case, yeah.
scuba diving.
Do I look good?
It was my first time ever attempting to scuba dive, so I needed my instructor Abdullah to teach me the ropes before heading out properly the next day.
That's cool.
Scuba diving is something I've always wanted to do,
Oh, that's
but
sure.
I would be lying if I said that deciding to do it in Kuwait wasn't motivated by the idea of getting out to sea and escaping the heat.
Ben, nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Alright, here we are.
Yeah, because unironically, scuba diving in Kuwait would be safe. It's like really calm water as well. Like same thing. It's like a breakwater basically, the backwater in the next to Kuwait. So I don't think you'd face that many problems. You won't have really heavy waves or heavy tides, and it just genuinely would be easier than doing it anywhere else. Honestly, I think this would be a safe place
Love
to do
the
it.
Persian.
If you had to learn, it'd be a
Persian
pretty
Gulf?
good place to do it.
The Arabian
Yeah.
Gulf.
No?
I called it the Persian Gulf, but they weren't too happy.
Yeah, the water is so clear.
Yeah, the water looks so nice and clear. It's really not that hot on the boat, you know? I'm quite surprised.
And the wind here is really nice.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
breeze is really cool.
Wow, look at that, 45 degrees. That is insane.
And after letting everyone else go first, it was my time to put Abdullah's training to the test.
Sugar?
Okay, clear. Okay, clear.
See, it's really calm water as well. Yeah, that's nice.
I know you always see incredible videos online of people scuba diving in clear blue waters, surrounded by all of the sea's creatures, but I can't put into words how surreal a feeling it actually is to experience it.
There we go. DFD complete. Oh,
Completed.
Nice.
How's the heat?
the temperature just wasn't nearly as hot.
Yes.
But then as we were coming back into the city, you could just feel like when we got within a mile or something. You could
Like
just,
a massive air
Right.
dryer.
it was genuinely like someone just suddenly started.
Yeah.
Like, it was
It's like
like
an air
someone
fryer.
just started blowing hot air in your face.
This is what you get when you decide to visit the hottest country
Yeah.
in the world.
So Abdullah was just telling me how he's left his lighter in his car before and it's exploded
Yes.
in the car just because the sun.
Yeah,
just
oh yeah,
blew
yeah,
so
yeah.
much
That,
heat.
that's
Wow.
something like a very common story. You've heard in there stories of like if it's hot enough, you'll have that belt buckle with the metal part. It gets so hot it singes, like melts into the seat. Like it gets very hot.
explodes.
Not surprised.
When people leave
It
lots of
blows
water
up as well. Yeah.
inside the car,
Pressure blows it. Yeah.
or the curves of the bottle acts like magnifying glass, and it will set the car on fire.
I've never heard of that.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I've never heard of that. Yeah.
Like,
But to be
that's
fair, actually, wait. Now that I think about it, I have seen cars just catch on fire though twice. So I guess it's not as uncommon as I'd like to say, but yeah, it does happen.
Free physics lesson in Kuwait.
Yeah.
we would never have to think about that, you know.
So you're proud to be Kuwaiti?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I will never move out of this country.
Yeah.
I'll live here forever.
What does it mean to be Kuwaiti for you?
Well, that you belong to this culture.
Yeah.
You belong to those people here. This means a lot to me, and it makes me like feel safe when
Yeah.
I'm here between everyone.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Thank
cool.
you.
Despite finding the heat a real struggle whilst I was here, Abdullah's sentiments on Kuwait echoed my closing thoughts as I left this beautiful country, which I will definitely be visiting again in the winter next time.
Oh yeah, it's a great place to visit in the winter. Almost all the Gulf states are incredibly nice to visit in the winter. It's much better temps, much cooler, ambience, and you get to go outside. Is really nice. You'd have temperatures that dropping like 20, 22s, or even sub 20. Great times. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you beautiful bastards in the next one. Peace. Take care. Nice.